get our belly breathing. Inhale, zipping up through that pelvic floor. Exhale, ribs to hips. I'll remind you about your posture, shoulders down and back, nice and tall through the spine, chin slightly tucked in. A nice little warm up today. We're just going to bring our arms out to the side. Inhale through the center, exhale as we pivot on the back foot. So over to one side and then over to the other side. Now lift up that front hand over towards the ceiling. So now a little side bend and then back. And then the arm comes out in front, go over towards the side. And then the arm comes up towards the ceiling, over to one side, and then back. And then over behind you. And the other way, then the arms come up towards the ceiling, going over to one side, and then the other. Last time on this side, so remembering what side you're starting from, and then up towards the ceiling, over to one side, and then the other. So this time, stay on that side, go twist around that way, and then the other. Then the arm comes up towards the ceiling, and then back. Side to side, and then up towards the ceiling. Our side bends, and last time, arms out in front, and arms up towards the ceiling. Now, a little bit of balance work and also standing abdominal work, hands behind the head. We're going to lift up that right leg, drive it up, and lightly touch down. So don't bend, don't lock this standing knee, up and down, up and down. So inhale, zip up, exhale, ribs to hips as you lift. Think about your posture now, shoulders down and back, nice and tall through the spine. For 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to twist towards that knee. So a little bit of balance work and abdominals. For 3, 2, and 1. Keep that leg up here. Now we're going to go into little runner's position. So opposite arm to that knee. Then we're going to bring that leg back and try and bring the same arm as that back leg down towards the floor. Nice, slow and controlled, lifting up. Opposite arm, opposite knee. Lifting up, squeezing ribs to hips, shoulders down and back. And then lower that leg behind you. And lower the front of the body, still scooping out that belly. And then lift up. We're going to do 2 more. So keep scooping out that belly. Good for your balance. And control. Lifting up. Whew. And last one down. And shake. Okay, onto the other side. Hands behind the head. Slight soft bend in that standing knee. We're just going to lift up and down. Inhale down, exhale, squeeze ribs to hips. So still a little abdominal exercise here. Think about your posture. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let's twist towards that knee. And twist. And twist. Twist. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now opposite arm to the leg in front, and then bring the same arm as that back leg as it goes back down towards the floor. And then back up. And down. Scooping out that belly. Nice and long through the spine. We're going to do 2 more. Squeezing that standing glute as well. And last time. Coming back up and shaking that out. Okay, nice little roll down, shoulders down and back, long through the spine, zip up through that pelvic floor on the inhale, exhale, ribs to hips, chin to chest, slide those hands along the legs, scooping out that belly, protecting that lower back, soft bend in those knees, keep that head down nice and heavy. Feel that lovely stretch in the back of the legs. Nod your head a few times, yes? A few times, no. Grab your elbows and just swish around your legs from side to side. Inhale, zip up, exhale, let's roll back up. Scoop out that belly. Articulating through the spine as we lift up. Let's roll those shoulders. 1, 2, and 3. Back again, the other way. 2 and 3. Inhale, zip up, exhale, ribs to hips, chin to chest. Slowly roll back down. Walk ourselves out into our down dog and pedal out those calves as usual and the Achilles. Still scooping out that belly. And let's lower down onto our knees. We're going to do a little sequence here. We'll do level 1 to begin with. So we're going to push back onto our heels, bottom onto our heels. We're going to slide our head as close as we can along the mat with our elbows in, pushing up, lifting up. So into your push-up position, so you're going to squeeze your chest, squeeze your biceps, lift up out of your shoulders, squeezing between your shoulder blades. And we're going to come into our push-up, so down on your knees and lift back up, and then we're going to come down onto our tummies. Hands overhead. Scoop at that belly, protect that lower back, so don't just push on your knees to lift up your belly, just lift your belly button away from the mat. We're going to lift up the upper and lower body, lifting up, bringing the hands down to the thighs, lifting the upper body a little bit higher, and back overhead. Then into your stop sign, squeezing between your shoulder blades, squeezing those glutes, lower back down. Push up into your cobra pose. And back down. And then pushing up, so you're on your knees, pushing up, and that's the full sequence there. So you're starting back on our heels. Level 2, you're going to come onto your toes. You're going to slide along the mat, keeping those elbows in, scooping out that belly, lifting up into your push-up position. You're going to push down, push back up, push down onto your tummy, nice, slow, controlled, arms overhead. Lifting upper and lower body, scoop out that belly, bring those hands down to your thighs. Eye gaze down at the mat so you have a nice long spine. Back overhead, into your cactus arms, squeezing between the shoulder blades, squeezing those glutes, lower back down. Push back up into your cobra pose. Lower back down. Pushing back up either on your toes or your knees in your push-up position. Hold it here in your plank, modified or on your toes. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees down, back onto your heels. We're going to do 2 more sets. Slide that nose along the mat. Your elbows are in. Lifting up into your push-up. Push down, inhale down, exhale, push away. Push down onto your tummy. Lift the belly button away from the mat, arms overhead. Lift upper and lower body. Bring those arms down to your thighs, squeezing between your shoulder blades, squeezing those glutes. Arms back overhead. Back into your cactus pose. Squeezing between those shoulder blades, those glutes, hammies, lower back down. Push up into your cobra pose. Coming back down. Push back up. Either on your knees or toes. Holding it here now for a little bit longer. Keep that posture straight back. Eye gaze down at the mat. Push the belly button up towards the spine. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Onto your knees. Coming back into your heels. Last time. Slide along that mat. Lifting up into your push-up position. Push down. Push back up. Push down onto your tummy. Hands overhead. Lift upper and lower body. Bring those hands down to your thighs, squeezing between your shoulder blades. Feeling those muscles all down the side of your back. Bring them back overhead. Coming into your stop sign. Squeeze. Lower back down, push up into your cobra pose. Back down into your push-up, straight up. Hold it here now for a little bit longer. Straight back, whether you're on your knees or toes. Push that belly button up towards the spine. Eye gaze down at the mat, nice long neck. Straight back. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down onto your knees. Open those knees as wide as the mat. Push back towards your heels. Hands overhead and circle those wrists one way and then the other. Coming up, we're going to do a little cat and cow. So 4-point kneeling, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. We're going to tilt that pelvis, round out the back, bring the head down, really push the belly button up towards the spine, and then tilt the pelvis, arch that back, bring the head up. One more round, tilt, round, bring the head down, tilt, arch, bring the head up. Let's come back into neutral spine. Let's bring our knees out as far as we can. Nice little hip opener, and then push back. And then forward. Push back, and then forward. Opening out those hips. And then coming back, walk those knees back into 4-point kneeling. We'll do our little thread the needle before we come to our abdominals. So right arm up towards the ceiling, follow the gaze up towards the ceiling, and then dive that hand underneath, stretching that right hand as far as you can. Lifting back up, twist, and then dive it down underneath. Lifting back up, dive it down underneath. Slide that left hand overhead towards the top of the mat. Pull away from that right hand. So pull that right shoulder away from that right hand. Still pushing the belly button up towards the spine. Then bring that left hand up and over your back and pop it in between that crease between hip and shoulder, hip and thigh, and open up that chest. Bring that left hand down back beside the head to support your head as you lift back up. And now that left arm up towards the ceiling. Dive it down underneath. Keep those abdominals engaged. Lift up. Dive it down. And lift up. Dive it down. Slide that right hand up towards the top of the mat and pull away from that left hand. Scoop out the belly. Right hand comes up and over your back into that crease, opening up your chest. Right hand comes back near your head, support your head as you push yourself up. And let's hop onto our bottom. Couple of nice little roll up and downs, warm up the spine. So you can start with your legs slightly bent. Think about your posture, nice and tall, shoulders down and back, arms up in front. Inhale, zip up, exhale, C-curve that spine. All your energy going towards these abdominals to lower yourself back down. You can pop your hands behind your thighs to help and try not to lift those feet off the mat. Stretch hands overhead. Inhale, zip up. Hands are towards the ceiling, and let's roll back up again. Scooping out that belly. That's what's lifting you up. Squeeze. Lift up nice and tall. Okay. Inhale, nice and tall. Something's pulling you up from the top of your head. And now exhale, C-curve the spine. Scoop that belly out and lower back down. Articulating through the spine as you lower back down. And bring those hands down, bring those knees in towards you, about hip distance apart. I want you to exaggerate now your lower back. So I want you to lift and arch that lower back and then push it into the mat. So lift it and then push it into the mat. And then come about halfway. So that's your neutral spine. And you should have just a slight little gap underneath that lower back. when your knees are on the feet are on the ground. As soon as you lift your legs away from the mat and then unsupported, that's when I want you to push that lower spine into the mat. So really imprint it into the mat. And that's going to support your lower back, because we are going to keep these legs lifted today. So really make sure you push that lower back into the mat. In so doing, you automatically bring those ribs to hips. So suck in that tummy, push those deep abdominals into the spine, then the spine's sandwiched between the mat and your deep abdominals, supporting it. Okay, lower back down again. Let's set ourselves up. Posture on the mat, shoulders down and back, chin slightly tucked in. A nice little neutral spine, but now we're going to lift our legs one at a time into tabletop, so imprint that spine into the mat. Let's just start with little toe taps at a little bit faster than normal. So we're just going to lower and lift. Feel those low abdominals working here. So it takes a little bit of work to push the lower back into the mat, and then work those legs up and down. Now I can see some of you just bending your legs. I want that right angle tapping out. So not bending that foot down here. So it's a right angle tapping away from the body. Okay, arms up towards the ceiling. And then bring those arms slightly back. Can you feel that you're working more of the obliques now? And those lower abdominals. Hands behind the head. So clasp those hands behind the head, and we're going to lift up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Twist to one side. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Twist to the other side. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last 8. Arms up overhead. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring those knees into the chest. Rock from side to side. Round and around. So hopefully putting that lower back and pushing it into the mat has made a difference to any lower back discomfort. We're going to do one more round like that. Arms overhead. Start dropping those toes towards the mat. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring those arms back a little bit further. You really need to push that lower back into the mat. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands behind the head, lift up for 8, 7. So nice and high, don't halfway where you're straightening that neck. Nice and high, and then over to one side for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then over to the other side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Arms up towards the ceiling. Lift a little bit higher. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring those knees into the chest. You can pop your feet down as wide as a mat and just windscreen wiper those legs from side to side. Okay, we're going to do one more round, but we're going to progress to straight legs. If at any stage your back takes over, reset and maybe just go to the bent leg. So with the longer lever, it just adds more weight. So you've got to have a little bit more control. So make sure if there's any discomfort in that lower back, go to the bent leg exercise. So legs up towards the ceiling. We're going to do exactly the same thing. It's going to be a little bit slower. Arms up towards the ceiling. we're going to lower that leg. As we bring the other leg up, lower the other leg. So much more in the lower abdominals here. Much harder to push that lower back into the mat. So maybe you don't have to bring those legs down so far. Hands overhead. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands behind the head, lift up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Over to one side for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Feel those obliques working. And then over to the other side, twist. Keep those elbows wide. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Arms overhead, lift a little bit high for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees into the chest. Rock from side to side, round and around. Splay those knees out in nice big circles. One way and then the other. Put your feet down as wide as a mat and windscreen wiper those legs. We're going to finish this off with a set of hundreds. Few different levels. So you can just have your feet on the mat, pulsing those arms. Now as you pulse those arms, that's why we do it. We've got to stabilize those abdominals as we pulse those arms. So pulse them nice and hard so your abdominals work that little bit harder. Then we're going to, so level 1, level 2 into tabletop. Level 3, we're going to bring the leg down for 5 beats, then up for 5 beats. Down and up. And level 4 is down and up with the straight legs. So pick your level. Inhale, zip up. Exhale, lift up into your level. Hands behind your head. And, we've got our hands beside our body. We're going to beat them. So, here we go. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember to push, if your legs are unsupported, push that lower spine into the mat. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's 60. 40 to go. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Working those triceps as well. Keep that body as still as you can. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last 10. 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Knees into the chest. Round and around, up and down, whatever feels comfortable. And then feet as wide as a mat, windscreen wiper from side to side. Then bring one knee into the chest, lengthen one leg. And swap. And switch. And switch. Bring both knees in. Open the knees out wide, pushing the knees down towards the floor. Lengthen those legs. Bring those legs down towards the floor. Bend your knees, grab your toes, push your knees down towards the floor. And then we can rock from side to side. Okay, lower those legs. We're going to come on, do a little bit of side work today. So if you can, lift up onto your elbow. Make sure that elbow is underneath that shoulder. If not, you can just have a pillow, put it on your head, or lie down with your head into your shoulder. But ideally up onto your elbow. Bend your knees. We're going to start with our little clams. Make sure those feet are in line with your hips, not up at the edge of the mat. In line with your hips, in line with your shoulders. Make sure those hips are stacked so so the chest is not up towards the ceiling. The chest is forward, the hips are forward. So this is a sideline series. We're working our glutes, particularly our glute med, that outside glute here. Arm out in front. Lifting up, lifting that waist. And this is also an abdominal exercise, so feel those obliques particularly working as you open the leg. Inhale, zip up. Exhale, lift that leg open. Hold it here. Squeeze those abdominals. You can really feel those obliques working. Squeeze those glutes. Lower back down. Then stretch that top arm back. And back again. Lift up that glute. Squeeze those abdominals and glutes. Hold it there. Recognize the muscles you want to use. Lower back down. Lift that arm back. Squeeze, open that glute. Keep those hips stacked. Don't let that hip rock back as you open up. Lower back down. Stretch back. 3 more here. Open up the leg. Squeeze your abdominals and the glutes. Lower back down. Open up. 2 more. Squeeze. Lower back down. Open up. Last time. Lift up. Squeeze. Lower back down. Stretch back. Okay, we're going to use the arm and the leg together today. Just adds a bit more complexity, but you don't have to do it if you don't want to. So we're going to straighten out the leg, straighten out the arm. So the arm and the leg are going to do the same thing. So we're just going to lift and lower. Lift and lower. So keep those hips stacked, chest forward. You're hinging from that hip joint here. Lift and lower. Lift up out of the shoulder. Bring that waist up. Feel that abdominal connection as you lift that leg. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift it up. Now we're going to do a couple little circles without the hips moving. With your arms, with your legs. And then back the other way. Nice, slow and controlled. This is hard work. Now we're going to bring the knee in, clasp the fist, and then stretch it out in front. Bring it in, clasp the fist, squeeze that bicep, and then lengthen. Bring it in, squeeze, out in front. Bring it in, squeeze, lengthen. Lifting up out of the shoulder, out in front, back, squeeze, lengthen. Bring it up, squeeze the fist, out in front, leave it here. We're going to come up and down. Nice, slow and controlled. Difficult exercise to keep those hips perfectly still. You're all doing well. Lift and lower. Now we're going to do our little circles to finish. Little circles. Can you feel those abdominals working as well? And then back the other way. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, give that a little massage. We're going to lift ourselves up. That underneath leg is going to come in front. That top leg we just used behind us. Do our little mermaid stretch. So same arm as the front leg, comes up and over towards that back leg. Slide that top arm along the mat, and let's bring the other arm over. And then lift back over. And then bring that arm behind you. Lift up your hips and lift up the other arm. Stretch back and lower back down. And let's switch to the other side. Okay, elbow under that shoulder, lifting up. Knees are together, feet are together, feet in line with those hips. Keep those hips stacked, shoulders stacked one on top of each other. Arm out in front. Inhale, zip up, exhale, open that leg, hold it here. Think about the muscle you're using, fire up that glute, squeeze those abdominals, lower back down, then stretch back. Open up, squeeze. Lower back down, stretch back. Some good form going on here. Lift up that leg, squeeze. I really can feel those obliques working, squeezing those glutes as well. Lower back down, stretch back. Lift up, squeeze. Lower back down, stretch back. Let's go for 2 more. Lift up, squeeze. Lower back down, stretch back. Lift up, squeeze. Lower back down, stretch back. Now you're going to lengthen that top leg. Keep those hips stacked. Don't rock that hip back. Arm out. We're going to lift up and down. Up and down. Up and down. For some people that is obviously going to be higher than others, but don't let that, as you lift up, let that waist fall towards the mat. So keep up and just lift that leg up as far as you can without doing that. Lift and lower. Feel the sides of the abdominals working as you lift and lower. Lift and lower. 3, 2, 1. Let's do our little circles. So try and keep that body perfectly still. And then circle those legs back the other way. Circle the arm as well. For 3, 2, and 1. You're going to bring that knee in, clasp the fist, and lengthen it out in front. And back. Lengthen it down. Back in. Lift up out of the shoulders. Scoop out that belly. Nice, slow, controlled. Back in. Clasp the fist. Lengthen. Clasp. Lengthen. One more each way. Lengthen, lift up out of your shoulder. I forget that as well. And let's do some up and downs here in front. Nice, slow and controlled. Feel those abdominals working. Brace those abdominals. Lift up out of your shoulder for 4, 3, 2, and let's finish off with our little circles with your arms as well. And then let's go back the other way. 3, 2, and 1. Give that a little massage. Lift up, bring that bottom leg forward into your mermaid stretch. Same arm as that front leg comes up and over towards the back leg. Slide that hand along the mat, and let's bring that top other arm over. And then back the other way. And then bring that hand behind you, lift up your hips and stretch back. Lower back down. Okay, we're going to come over, bend your knees together, coming onto your knees, lifting up. Cat and cow. So let's tilt the pelvis, round out the back, and tilt and arch. 2 more rounds. Tilt and round. Tilt and arch. With the head, the last thing that comes down, and then the last thing that comes up. Come back to neutral. Bring that right leg forward. I'm going to stretch this left hip flexor. So tilt that pelvis and really push your bottom in towards that left hip flexor. Posture, arms in front. We're going to circle the right arm first. A nice big circle with the arm. And as that gets towards the back, lift up the left arm. Circle that back. Bring that right arm forward up towards the ceiling. Left arm comes down on that heel. Looking up. Coming forward. Bring that right arm down. Looking down at the floor. Lift the left arm towards the ceiling. Then bring that left arm towards the foot. And the right arm, twist up, look up towards the ceiling. Bring that arm down beside the foot, so the foot is straddled between both hands. Lift that back leg. Bring both arms inside that front leg. Then lift the right arm back up towards that ceiling. Bring that down, feet in between those hands, and we're just going to stretch and lengthen that front leg. Then we're going to walk our hands towards the front, and we're just going to bend and stretch both legs from side to side. And then we're going to turn towards the other side, bring that back leg down. So now we should be stretching the right hip flexor, lift up. Tilt that pelvis, push up against that right hip flexor. Hands out in front. Circling that left hand up. And then as that gets towards the back, start circling the right arm. Left arm comes up towards the ceiling, right arm on the back of that heel. Looking up. Still pushing up against that right hip flexor. Left arm comes down beside the body, look down. Right arm lifts up. Right arm down beside the foot. Left arm up towards the ceiling. Follow your gaze. Bring that hand down. Lift the back leg. Bring both arms inside that front leg. Left arm back up towards the ceiling. Bring that back down either side of that foot and lengthen that front leg. Bend and stretch. And then walk your way back towards the middle again, and then side stretches. Bend and lengthen side to side. Walk those feet in about just outside of your hips. Bend down and try and bring those elbows in towards your knees, pushing those knees apart. And then we're going to come up halfway, putting your hands on your knees, and let's bring the opposite shoulder to the opposite knee. And then switch. One more each way. Still scooping out that belly, protect that lower back. Lift the upper body, hands behind the head, still knees are bent. And we're going to bring the same elbow to the same knee. And switch. One more each way. Let's lower back down, scraping the floor, lift back up. Lower back down, lift back up. Lower back down, lift back up. Stretch one arm a little bit higher, little side bend, then the other. Now I want to bring one arm behind your back, palm facing outwards, then the opposite ear to the same shoulder there. And let's switch. Arm behind your back, palm facing out, then the opposite ear to the shoulder. Clasp your hands behind you, palms, heels of your hands together and push out. And let's bend forward, scoop the belly and try and lift those hands above your head. Don't lock those knees. Feel that lovely stretch in the back of the legs as well. Coming back. Hands out, clasp in front. And then push away. Lift up. 3 more breaths in and out. Lift up on your toes if you can. In and out. In and out. And a couple of little twists.